The Eagles win in decisive fashion. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Holliday Eagle Football Show, right here on S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media, as Holliday goes to 3-1 with a dominating win over Childress. Now, the score, it sounds 24-14, still a two-score game, but it was more dominating than that. That defense didn't give up a point till the game was basically decided. Had a shutout against Idalou. And I'll tell you what, man, the way the defense has responded after that Jim Ned game, that just goes to show you why sometimes you need a game like that Jim Ned game. You need a game like that to kind of point at, hey, this is what happens when we don't do what we should do. When you're pointing at all the good things you're doing, that's easy. Man, when you have a film that's clean, which no team ever has a clean film, but when you have a pretty clean film, you can point to, hey, look, we did that and it looked good and that's great and everybody's happy. But when you can point to the mistakes and say, hey, look, this right here is the proof that, as a coaching staff, we're trying to tell you to trust us, especially a new coaching staff into a new area. But yeah, you can see that it's working. Really dominating win. The offense is still trying to figure it out, and it's going to be a while. And it might not even be fully this season. And I love the fact that Coach Atwood is very clear. Everybody talks about, Holliday's throwing now, and y'all are. But as he keeps saying, he said it a couple times here. I read it in a couple of the articles about this game and other games. We're throwing it, but mainly we're going to do what the defense gives us. If you give us the run, we're going to run 45 times. If you give us the pass, we're going to throw it 45 times. And you're going to start seeing that also, that offense blossom as they hit district play. Of course, this week is a bye. So next week's show will be probably short. It'll just kind of really be Snyder. I might find a couple other things to ask him, maybe some personal questions so that y'all can get to know him a little bit more. But I just wanted to let y'all know on that programming note that next week's show probably will be a little bit shorter because we'll just go right into Snyder, and that's it, simply because we've already talked the bye stuff in this interview. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's the head coach of the Eagles, Coach Kyle Atwood, right here on the Holliday Eagle Football Show on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at L4FRclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. Terry Bennett back here on the Holliday Eagle Football Show. Now joined by the head coach of the Eagles, Coach Kyle Atwood. And Coach, a great win against Childress, 24-14. What were your thoughts on it?
We were very proud of our kids. We preach to them each and every week that we want to be better when we leave the field than we were when we came on. And I think we've continued to make strides in those directions. And we did that on Friday night as well. Still some missed execution, missed opportunities in the first half offensively. But we came back out the second half and scored our first two drives offensively. And defensively, we played almost lights out for the entirety of the game, So very proud of our kids, their efforts, and their mentality to just get better each and every time we're out there on the field.
Well, and you talk about that right there. We talked after that Jim Ned game, and you'd said off the record, and then you said it during the show that you wanted to see how this defense responded to a team that kind of pushed them around. Well, they respond with a shutout against Idalou, and for most accounts, they basically shut out the ones against Childress. So you got to like the way the defense responded.
Absolutely, and we've got a number of kids who are playing really good football right now, and so we just got to continue to keep that mentality and continue to work and just get better each and every week, and I think we're going to do just that.
As a coach, you're in a bye. How do you like where it's at? I know you had nothing to do with this schedule, but do you like where it's at with this team this year? Do you wish it was a little bit later or a little bit earlier?
Yeah, obviously with us, new schemes, new philosophies, I wish it would be just a little bit later. We were kind of in a rhythm of the way we were doing things, and we were seeing a lot of progress. And so, you like to have that bye in the middle of the season, if not a little bit later, to get some kids healthy as well as get your legs back under you as you finish up district play and hopefully make a playoff run. But we're going to take advantage of where it's at right now, and so we've lightened practice up a little bit. We're trying to do a little bit more conditioning so a little bit of just basic fundamental stuff. Not necessarily preparing for Snyder yet, basic fundamental stuff, and then some running type conditioning to make sure that we're prepared to play for 48 minutes next week and every week there from there on. So we're proud of where we're at. We know we've got a long ways to go, and so this week's an opportunity for us to work on some of those things that we need to work on to continue to get better.
Well, you got the bye week at week 5. It's the proverbial middle of this regular season already. I keep telling people how quick this goes. For you as a coach at a new place, how are you settling in now? And I know I asked you that the very first show we did, but I ask it again because we're halfway. Are you settling in now in Holliday?
Yeah, we are. We've been welcomed by so many, and I think our kids are starting to understand us as coaches, our philosophies, our schemes, and we've began to build a really good bond. So yeah, it's been really good. Still the transition for my family and my wife and kids in regards to getting our house sold and getting something locked in here for the long haul. But that comes with the territory, and we're blessed to be here. And we wake up every morning excited to be an Eagle.
So for the bye week, you talked about you're gonna kind of go back to the basics. I think most coaches do that now in the bye week. Is there anything in particular that you're wanting to work on that you feel that y'all have got to improve on before district play starts in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I think if you watched our games, you saw early on a little bit different mentality up front in our offensive line play. We didn't fire off the ball quite hard enough. We pass protect fairly well, but just our run game blocking schemes were not really solidified up. And then we got there to that Idalou game, jumped into some under center, hand in the dirt, foot to foot splits, and we saw some really good stuff. And so we just preached to our kids through the course of film that those blocking schemes are almost identical, regardless if we were a 2-foot split or a foot-to-foot split, regardless if we were hand in the dirt or in a 2-point stance. We ran the exact same plays as far as, blocking scheme, blocking down, gap schemes, whatever the case may be. And so we saw a lot of improvement in that area from the transition from Idalou to that Childress game on last Friday night. Our quarterbacks have continuously gotten better in making reads in our RPO stuff, as well as, really working the pocket and staying cool, calm, and collective and being able to deliver a throw. We've just been a little bit off, a little bit overthrown ball, or maybe it's just right there, but it's hitting us in the hands and we're not quite securing a catch. And so just a lot of the timing stuff that we need to work on to continue to get better. And more and more reps. It doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. The more times you do it, the better you get at it. And so I'm 39 years old, and I've gotten pretty good at waking up in the morning, putting deodorant on, and brushing my teeth. And so I think these kids continue to do the same thing over and over in practice. The more reps we get at it, the better we will get at it. And hopefully by the time we get through district play and maybe make a good little playoff run, we're firing on all cylinders and feeling really comfortable in what we do. Defensively, we're really getting an idea as to how our defense works. We saw early on with a little bit of some issues up front in regards to just pad level, and then we're a gap scheme defense, and so at times our interior defensive linemen were peeking from one gap to the next, and we had two hats. We had a linebacker and a defensive tackle, or a linebacker and defensive end in the same gap, and no one in the other gap. And you start to watch more and more film. The kids begin to understand it. And we played a football game last Friday night where we were where we needed to be when we needed to be there. We played with great pad level, and Childress is a really good football team, and they've done some really good things this year offensively. But when we did what we were supposed to do and played how we've been coached to play, some great things happened. And so I think our kids are starting to get that ingrained in their mind that, hey, this is an opportunity for us to be a really, really good defense if we continue to do the things we've been coached to do.
I'm just going to say, it sounds like you were trying to say that after you put on your deodorant and brush your teeth, the rest of the day is a crapshoot with how it's going to go for you.
Well, yeah, that could be it as well. That could be it.
But you bring up a good point. You talk about y'all had a couple plays where you had a couple defensive players in the same gap, and that's something nobody ever really talks about. You talk about offensive scheme and you talk about defensive scheme, like what you're trying to do, but nobody really talks about defenses have plays too. They've got to be in certain spots. They have gap responsibility, setting the edge, whatever it may be. You can't just have your 11 guys just going after the ball carrier.
Yeah, no, that's 100% right. And we're fortunate that they've been playing some really good defense, and the kids tackle well. They play with like their hair's on fire. They fly to the football. All of those great things, but things are a little bit different in our schemes than what we've done in the past few years in regards to just slanting and moving to now. We're more reading gaps and firing off and controlling the gaps and playing at hill depths and things of those natures. So it's a little bit different, but it's still the same mentality of, we're going to play our gap, and then we're going to fly to we want 11 hats to the football once our gap's taken care of. And so it's been a fairly easy transition for us because they've done such a great job in the past of rallying to the ball and being physical and all those things that you need to be a great defensive player.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie, and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. As always, we want to thank the head coach of the Eagles, Coach Kyle Atwood, for joining us. 3-1 going into the break. Snyder next week, and then you hit district play. 6-3A Division II so far on the year. Why don't we just go and do a real quick little recap here? Callisburg's 3-1. They've got Bells this week. I think it's this week. They might have a bye this week. Let me check. No, they have Bells this week, so you'll get a little idea of them. They lost to Pottsboro 34-28 in a close one. That's their only loss of the year. They beat Lindsay and Pilot Point and Bonham. Henrietta, they're 2-1. They've got Jacksboro. Now they had a game canceled last week, the weather game on the 8th, and so they're only 2-1. They beat Archer City 42-7. Beat Millsap in a shootout 45-39, and lost to Windthorst to begin things this year in a great game 37-34. Valley View, they're 1-3. Now they lost their quarterback, who's now at Ponder. And this is a young guy. I think he's a sophomore, and they were really expecting a lot of things out of him. So they've struggled. They beat Chisholm to start the year 46-42. Since then, they've lost to Alvord 17-14. Also lost to Lindsay 56-32. So we'll be curious to see how they do. Wichita Falls, City View, they're 2-2 on the year. I almost said 4-4. They're 2-2 on the year. They started out 0-2, losing to Vernon 40-20, losing to Frederick, Oklahoma 29-22, bouncing back in week 3 against Trimble Tech 45-0. And then last week beat a winless boy team, but it's a winless boy team that can score. So that's still, to me, a pretty solid win for Wichita Falls City View. So that is District 6 3A a couple weeks before district play. Again, next week's a shorter show. We'll basically just talk about the Snyder game, since we kind of already talked about the bye week this week, going for them and not having to play and what they're doing practice wise and stuff. I'm always interested in what coaches do during bye week. Some do the go back to fundamentals, do some maybe a lighthearted day or two to give the boys a rest. And then some are like, no, I like to keep it kind of like we do game day just because I want to keep them on that same, repetitious, don't want to deviate too much. So I'm always interested in how coaches do that. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Next week, we'll talk Snyder right here on the Holiday Eagle Football Show on S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media.